What's up guys, Anthony here at DPR, and today we're talking about how to scale your ball python breeding business on 10 years. If you're ready, let's jump right into that. So now that you're breeding ball pythons, the whole goal is eventually going to be to evolve your collection into something amazing. We all know the great breeders that are out there, Justin from Kinova, Ozzy Boyd's, Mark Bailey, even guys here in Canada, Billy at Mutation Creation, Will from Royal Canadian Reptiles. These are all great breeders that have a great collection. Obviously, these guys have a great vision for their projects, for their business, but they have been doing it for so long. And that's a bit of what I want to talk about today. It's really how to scale your ball python breeding business from the first year that you're actually breeding, not the year you start to invest in your animals, but the really first year you start to breed, all the way up to 10 years. And that's going to be into 3 different phases. And the very first phase is actually the startup phase. In the startup phase, it's the moment where you're going to start to breed the females that you previously bought as hatchling. So basically, let's say you start, you buy a few animals, and then as they age, you get into that first time you breed them. That's the first year out of the 3 in the startup year. It's also inside of that phase that you're actually going to develop your vision and where you want to go with your collection in the long run. Basically, there's a lot of different things you can do. There's thousands and thousands of different possibilities and different avenues and routes you can take in order to make crazy looking ball pythons. It's really important to nail down and know exactly where you're going first to make the heads, to make the crazy cool animals. So in that first period, it's really where you're going to create those heads, those double heads, or potentially even triple heads or quads that have your touch, your vision attached to it. It's where you're going to produce those with the incomplete dominant that you want to add. Let's say you want to go into the sentinel project. You buy in there, you buy a female sentinel, you breed her to a crazy cool male, and this is the first time you're actually going to make the animals that you're not really going to see elsewhere available, or just very few of them. Within those 3 first years, it's really where you create the foundation for your whole business. It's where the next generation of snakes that are going to be produced in your facility are based onto. The second phase is what I call the visionary phase, or the vision phase. It's basically from year 4 to 6 into breeding. That's where you're going to produce animals that are mostly not available anywhere else. These are animals that you've thought about and are the elements of your end goal. In year 4, 5, or 6, it's really the first time you're going to be breeding the animals that you produced in the year 1 or 2 from your breeding. And this is really crucial and important because these are the animals, the previous animals you made, these are the animals that are carrying the seeds of your vision. And without them, you're not going to be able to achieve that end goal, that vision. I'm going to show you this snake here. This is a chocolate Mojave clown, 100% het for hypo. And this female, I would consider this female to be a year 4 to 6 animal, in the sense that I produced the female, that the mother actually, that made this snake back in 2018. So I had a vision of working into the hypo clown project. I incorporated a male with chocolate and then produced this animal. This animal is not the end goal. This animal is a way, it's an animal carrying the seed to what I want to produce in the future. What I want to produce could be super chocolate hypo clown combos, but this animal is a pretty unique snake. I haven't seen that many of them around, especially with the het hypo part, but it's not the end goal. This is an animal that's going to lead you to the end goal. It's also during that phase that you're going to be buying males that are very, very specific to your projects. This is the time where you really research for the perfect male, the perfect genes to go within your collection, within the animals that you produce between the year 1 to 3. For me, it was mostly getting into more expensive snake, but very, very specific animals. I've been waiting for months and months and months just before finding the perfect fit for my collection. And this is where you're going to be in the year 4 to 6. Males that really fit your collection is going to be a very tough thing to come across most of the time, because your collection is shifting towards something that's narrowing down with your vision, and the animals, the males that are going to fit through that, are going to be rarer and rarer each and every year. The third phase is actually one of my favorite one, obviously, because that's where you really start to innovate. I call this phase the innovation phase. That's where you put your vision into reality. You show what all your thoughts and all your efforts has been all about. You really start to produce the animals that you've been working on for so long. It's in that period that you will see the fruits of all your efforts. The animals that you made between the year 4 to 6 are really key elements, really strong elements in order to produce amazing snakes, but they're not exactly it. It's in the year 7 to 9 that you really start to see it. So here's a female I bought in the startup phase of my collection. This is a spot-nosed yellow-belly het clown. Actually, it also has red stripe. It was purchased as a spot-nosed yellow-belly het clown. It actually is a spot-nosed red stripe yellow-belly het clown. And that is a year 1 to 3 kind of animal. So this is in the startup phase. This animal that we produced in 2020 is basically an animal from the vision phase. So this is a visual of this one plus het hypo. So a spot nose, red stripe, yellow belly clown, 100% het for hypo. But this animal here is not the end goal. This is just an element to the end goal. And it's really gonna get crazy into the innovation phase when you start to breed this animal right here. We have planned for her a black pastel hypo desert ghost het clown. So we could be making some hypo Pompeii 100% het for desert ghost. So you see what I mean by you get from one point, you breed that animal, get some crazy hatchlings, hold back the animals, breed them again, and that's at that moment, that precise moment, where you're gonna start to make your innovation animals. But what's after that? So after the startup, the vision phase and the innovation phase, I call after 10 years what I'm referring to as the leader era. What I mean by that is that at some point where you're going to be so cutting edge into your projects that you've not only made the hets, bred the hets, produced some crazy stuff, raised them, bred them again, and then what you have after 9 years of effort, 10 years of effort, what you have is you're left with animals that are not anywhere else. If you've planned accordingly to your vision, you would have animals, you're supposed to have animals that are just out of this world and completely unique to your collection and are tinted with your own thoughts and your own projects and your own vision. At that point, it's really where you start to create a gap between all of the other breeders if you've done everything correctly, because every animals you produce are completely unique. And this comes back a lot of time to me when I talk to new breeders and newcomers, everyone that comes to the shop. It's all about finding what works best with your collection, with the genes, with your projects. You want to work into the sentinel, try to research and foresee the genes that will look good within that project. And if you're able to do that accordingly and do that properly, in 10 years, you'll be so far ahead of everybody else in the project, because in the first years, you've just added the very right incomplete dominant or other recessive to your project. It's so simple, but it's so crucial. The animals you make right now are going to be the bedrocks of your whole breeding foundation for years and years to come. So that's a bit my take. That's how I see it. Right now, as for DPR, this year, 2023, is going to be your 8th season breeding snakes. But realistically, I would say that we're more at the 6th year of breeding. The 2 first year, yes, we bred some animals, we had some clutches, but there was no really any vision. And I can't really say that I've progressed in the 2 first years of breeding. Was just mostly getting a hold of, was it breeding ball pythons, you know? And right now I'd say we're at year 6. We're definitely going to be making some crazy stuff, but it's really going to be next year, 2024, that everything's going to be starting to become insane here at DPR. We're going to start to be entering that innovation phase, and it's going to be just madness. I'm really curious to see what you guys think about this. Do you think that I summed it up pretty good? And I'll be curious also to know, in which phase are you in your collection? I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Be sure to go follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go check our Morph Market account for available animals. On this, we'll see you on other videos. Cheers.